नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अपद्येषु नित्यं भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं रङ्गयति गिरिं यत्कृपातं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधव श्रीचैतन्येश्वर कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Welcome to Srimad Bagavatam session in English. Canto 11, Chapter 3. Name of the chapter: Liberation from Illusory Energy. So, verse number 6. So, just a recap. So, the whole chapter is about how to get liberated from the external energy of Lord Krishna, that is Mahamaya. So, the whole description narrates how a devotee, a pure devotee or a sadhaka can at all means can escape from the clutches of Maya, the external energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, in the last 3 verses, we saw that how the acharyas like Jeeva Goswami, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, and now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur have explained about the Maya and how the Maya works and how one can subdue this Maya. All these things we have seen in our earlier sessions. All these are explained by the Navayogendras like Antariksha and other Navayogis to Nimi, to King Nimi. Just a recap from the first verse that when Raja Nimi asked the questions to Navayogendras, so Navayogendra, one by one the Yogendras will be giving answers to questions raised by Raja Nimi. So one of the such question is, he wished to learn about the illusory potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Vishnu, which bewilders even the great mystics. My Lord, please speak to us about this subject. So he is asking, even the great yogis and great mystics also get bewildered by the strong slap of Maya, or by the power of Maya, the illusory energy. And in purport, Prabhupada has mentioned about the disciples of Prabhupada has quoted the statement of Srila Sridhara Swami. So the first was mainly focus, throw the light on the sense gratification and people who are um, always targeting or making endeavors how best they can satisfy the senses of human beings. So they're all busy in getting victimization by the allurements of this material nature, which causes the conditioned souls to become averse to Krishna consciousness. So the second verse says about the although I am drinking the nectar of your statements about the glories of Supreme Personality of God, my thirst is not yet satiated. Such nectarian descriptions of Lord and His devotees are the actual reasons for conditioned souls like me, who are tormented by the threefold miseries of material existence. So in the next verse, second verse says in 11.3.2, King Nimi explains, he is not at all satisfied. Not satisfied. He is not at all, I mean to say his thirst for inquiring about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he's thronging to hear more and more and more about the pastimes of Supreme Personality of God, the glories of Supreme Personality of God, and the fame of Supreme Personality of God, and the name, the glories of holy names. All these ones, he is telling, he is appealing to, is humbly requesting one of the Navayogendras to tell more and more and more about the glories of the Supreme Personality of God. He is saying this although I am drinking, so though he is drinking the nectar of the statements about the glories of Lord, his thirst is not yet satiated. He is telling his quench for thirst is not yet satiated. Still he wants to drink more and more nectar, means to hear about the glories of the Lord. Because he, though he is a great Vaishnava and the exalted devotee, still he is claiming that still is a conditioned soul. So conditioned souls like me, this is not at all enough. I am still having the hunger, or I am having the thirst to hear the glories of the Supreme Personality of God. That's all about the second sloka. And the third verse, it says about the Antariksha's Muni trying to answer this question, saying that, O mighty armored king, by activating the material elements, the primeval soul of all creation has sent forth all living beings in higher and lower species, so that this conditioned soul can cultivate either sense gratification or ultimate liberation according to their desire. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur also narrates narrates about the potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The three modes of material nature, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Gunamayi, consisting of material modes of these material modes of nature are alluded in this verse by the word Uchchavachani. High and low species of life. So according to the desires of the living beings, according to the desire of living entities, the particular body they have prepared in their earlier life. So accordingly they will get the particular body. For example, I have given, if particular person is too much of sense gratification towards lusty activities, then you will get the body of a pigeon. And if he wants to eat more meat, you will get the body of tiger and lion. And if he is very envious, you will get the body of serpent, venomous serpent. And if he wants, if at all wants to be always stay in the water, he will get the body of a fish. Like this, the way or the activities or the life, the time he has spent for particular type of a body, he will get a particular type of a habit he has cultivated, or he has led the life in his previous birth, then accordingly he will get the births, like lower and higher species. Like lowest, so if at all he wants to become a very big multi-millionaire and so and so, he will get the same body if and he will prepare the same he will follow those style of life or type of life or methodology, ideologies. He will cultivate only according to that, because he has that aim or goal, or his contemplation, meditation, everything will be towards that, heading towards that. So you will get such type of body, or you will get the body in maybe in countries like Europe countries. So the varieties of beauty, ugliness, strength, weakness and other characteristics within a particular species. So it all depends upon the three modes of material nature. So if he cultivates a habit of following always in Sattva-guna, he will get the body in a higher planets. And if he cultivates the system of following Rajoguna, then he will get the planet, he will get the body in middle planets. And if he cultivates in Tamoguna, if he has the mood of Tamo or ignorance, then he will get the lower species of body. As it is said in 13:22 in Bhagavad Gita, Karanam Guna Sangasya Sad Ashad Yoni Janmasu. It also depends on, mainly depends on the association he takes, and also and what type of association he has taken, and what type of guna they had with them. So the same guna, he will also get that consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita also 14:18, it says that if he is in a mode of goodness, he goes to the upper planets. If he is if he is situated in the mode of Rajoguna, then he will go to the middle planet systems. And if he is situated in the Tamoguna, he will go to the lower planet systems. We know that we have 14 planetary systems, starting from Satyaloka to the lowest planet, hellish planet, Narakaloka. So text 4. Evam Srishtani Bhutani. So text 4 says that super soul enters the material bodies of the created beings, activates the mind and senses, and thus causes the conditioned souls to approach the three modes of material nature for sense gratification. This one super soul enters the grass material elements and uses activated material mind to subtly divide the sensory activities of the conditioned souls among the five knowledgeable occurring senses, and by further gross division, the five working senses, because liberated souls have strong tendency to serve the Lord. They are not attracted by the dualities of material good and evil. They derive the pleasure through devotion and love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who eternally enjoys his own transcendental pastimes beyond the material manifestation. So in this verse, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati gives a commentary about the super soul entering into the gross material elements like earth, water, fire, air, ether, and uses the activated material mind to subtly divide the sensory activities of the conditioned souls among the five knowledgeable acquiring senses: eyes, nose, ears, tongue, and skin. So the same five working senses, again the five working senses: hands, legs, speech, genitals, and anus. Because liberated souls have a strong tendency to serve Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are neither attracted by the dualities of material good or nor they are attracted to the evil deeds of material nature. They desire, they derive their pleasure by rendering pure devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God always. The conditioned souls forget their loving relationship with the Supreme Personality of God. They develop illicit desires, therefore unable to serve the form, taste, fragrance, and other aspects of Lord Vishnu. These souls become bound to the bitter fruits of fruitive activities. So here the comparison has been given between the liberated souls and the conditioned souls. So liberated souls try to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by rendering pure devotional service, or you can, in other words, you can say their senses are fully engaged in pleasing the Lord always. Like they have the consciousness, they keep the consciousness in the center, towards the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And eyes, they always want to have darshan of the Lord. And nose, they always smell the flowers which are offered to Supreme, the flowers or tulsi which are offered to the Lord. And the mouth, which always glorifies the holy names and glorifies the pastimes of the Lord, and also to honor prasadam. The whole full body is utilized to pay dandavat or pranams to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, hands, mandira marjana, to cleanse the temple and to do some deity worship, and also legs, wherever there are Vishnu forms. So walk there, go there and visit there and have association with the sadhus. Like this, the liberated souls always, and they keep on preaching everywhere, whomever they meet. Yare dako, vane tako, Krishna karo, Krishna upadesh. Like wherever you go, just preach about Krishna. If you are Grihastha, preach about Krishna. If you are Vanaprastha, preach about Krishna. If you are Sannyasa, also preach about Krishna. Discuss about Krishna, so that your heart will get purified. You may also experiment whatever the topics you may discuss. Apart from the Lord, all those topics are Shramayeva hi kevalam. In Bagavatam it says in first canto, second chapter, that Dhanmasthanustita pumsham visvakshena kathashana not payod yata rati shramayeva hi kevalam. Any topic or anywhere, any sort of activities which doesn't attracts visvakshena kathasana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's all waste, it's all a great loss to your human life. Visvakshena kathasana, anything and whatever the activity you take, you should get, the Lord should get attracted for that. So means that अर्थात जो आप सेवा करता है, जो काम करता है, जो कर्म करता है, ये सब कर्म है भगवान का संबंध रहना है, नहीं तो ये कर्म नुकसान है बोलता है, नुकसान है कहता है शास्त्र में. So anything which is not attractive to Lord, it's a colossal waste. It's very expensive. Again you have to pay price for it. Again you have to take another birth. Tata dehantara prakti. So that's what in fourth verse it says that. So one more thing I have to take as information that the soul is given a free will. Whether the soul can engage in Yogamaya or the soul can engage in Mahamaya. If it engages in Yogamaya and there is no sense gratification, there is no matter of sense gratification, but even though if it is situated in Yogamaya, all these senses are trying to please the Supreme Personality of God. But in Mahamaya, they are trying to please their own senses. In result, they will become Pashyanti. They will become fallen from the devotional platform. The fifth verse. The individual living being, the master of the material body, uses his material senses. So I will read the verse. Gunair gunansa bunjana atma pradoyita atma pradyotitai prabhuhu manyamana idam shrishtam atmanam iha sajjate. The individual living being, the master of the material body, uses his material senses which have been activated by the Supreme Soul, Super Soul, to try to enjoy sense objects composed of three modes of nature. Thus, he misidentifies the created material body with the unborn eternal self and becomes entangled in the illusory energy of the Lord. In this verse, Prabhu is mentioned. Prabhu means master because he is minute part and parcel of the Supreme Master Krishna. Similarly, in the Bhagavad Gita in 15:9 it says that Shastram yad avapnoti yad chapi utkramatishvaraha grihita vaitani samyati vayur gandhan ivashyat. So it says that the living entity in the material world, like the air carries out the aroma from one place to another place, similarly the living entity also carries his body from one body to another body depending on his good and bad deeds and also depending upon his karmic activities. So he keeps changing the body from the higher grade to lower grade, from lower grade to higher grade, depending upon the activities it has done, because the minute independence is there. So by keeping this minute independence, if the soul is intelligent enough, to spiritually intelligent enough, then the soul can be raised to the spiritual platform beyond this material creation. Here one important verse has been mentioned, that yashasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunaistatra samasta suraha. This verse would then mean that the Lord, by his transcendental qualities, gunai, such as mercy, is able to raise the transcendental qualities of his pure devotee. He is able to raise transcendental qualities of his pure devotees. Atma pratyoditahai titai would then indicate that by surrendering unto the Lord, who is the reservoir of all good qualities, the pure devotees become similarly endowed with godly qualities. So, what is the purpose of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead? That we should understand. Because the God is all powerful, the God is all pure, and the God has all good qualities. Not even a pinch of defect or not even a pinch of fault you can find out from the Lord's activities or Lord's form or any other thing, whatever which is related to Lord. So, because the devotee, therefore the devotee who is rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God, who has all good qualities, he will also get the empowerment of all good qualities, so that he will not get caught in the three modes of material nature. So he will be beyond these three modes of material nature. Because he is also called Prabhu or Master. Even some pure devotees are also called Master, because they had the qualities of, they have the all good qualities of Lord, like Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, like that. So, for example, after the battle of Kurukshetra, when Krishna was leaving his own city, Dwaraka, the loving appeal of Maharaja Yudhishthira forced the Lord to remain for several more weeks in Hastinapur. Similarly, when the elderly gopis of Vrindavana clapped their hands, Krishna would dance like a puppet, keeping the time with a rhythm. In relation to the subject matter, Srila Jiva Goswami quoted a verse from Srimad Bagavatam. It's a beautiful verse in Srimad Bagavatam. See, Lord also obliged to the words of pure devotees like Yudhishthira Maharaj and gopis in Vrindavan. When Yudhishthira Maharaj requested Lord to stay some more weeks in Dwaraka, so Lord has to accept that the invitation or the request made by Yudhishthira Maharaj. Similarly, the gopis who are exalted devotees in Braj, where with their dealings, Krishna was used as puppet. Lord Krishna, the Supreme, the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, he was dancing to the tunes of gopis, like elderly gopi like Yashoda Mata. And Yashoda Mata used to bet Krishna like anything, but Krishna used to run out of fear from Yashoda Mata in Damodar Lila also. That is because he is bound by the pure love of Yashoda Mata and other gopis. That's why he was he has become a puppet to the gopis in Vrajadam. That's why Krishna says in in his Bagavatam says in 9th canto 4th chapter 8th verse, Sadhave hrudayam mahyam sadhunam hrudayam tuham mad anyat tena janati jananti neham tebhyo manag api. So the pure devotee also stays, the pure devotee is always within the heart of Vishnu, and the Vishnu is always within the heart of pure devotees. And for pure devotees there is no other property except Vishnu, and for Vishnu there is no other property except their pure devotees. So this is the meaning of this particular verse. Sadhave hrudayam manyamahyam sadhunam hrudayam tuham. So verse number 6 will go, Karmani karmabi kurvan sa nimittani dehabrut tat tat karma palam gronan brahmatiha suketaram. Synonyms: karmani, various kinds of fruity work. Karmabi, by the karmendriyas, the organs of action. Kurvan, performing. Sa nimittani, which are imbued with motivating desires. Dehabrut, the proprietor of the material body. Tat tat, various karma palam, results of work. Granan, accepting. Brahmati, the wonders. Iha, throughout this world. Shuka, happiness. Itaram, otherwise. Translation purport given by devotees, disciples of Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Impelled by the deep-rooted material desires, the embodied living entity engages his active sense organs in fruitive activities. He then experiences the result of his material actions by wandering throughout his world in so-called happiness and distress. So this was narrates about the deep-rooted desires of material desires in the heart of the conditioned souls, uh, provokes them to do all sort of fruitive activities, engages his active senses in fruitive activities. He then experiences the results of those material actions by wandering throughout the world of so-called happiness and distress. So, simply by just in simple words, it means to say that a person who is engaged in fruitive activities means anything which satisfies his own self, satisfies his own desires, just selfish activities, or to to please his own senses. Any sort of activity which does not pleases the Supreme Personality of God, and a person tries to please his own senses, that is called fruitive activities. Any fruitive activities, it's also called as karma kanda. Like if one wants to go to heavenly planet, and they will have in their hearts to drink somarasa and to have a nice time with the residents of Swargaloka, and they want to dance with celestial dancers. So all these are sense gratificatory or fruitive activities. Anything which a person wants to try to satisfy his senses. So returns, he expects some returns by doing some activities. So what happens? Generally, it leads to take birth again and again, because he keeps going on satisfying his senses. So similarly, the result will be he has to take the he will get trapped in this birth and death cycle. Example also given: if we buy a air ticket to fly to some other place, from your native place to some other place, then once you have taken the ticket, or once you purchase the ticket, then till it reaches your destination, and whatever the reactions you have done in the journey of in your flight journey, like reactions, I mean to say that you may pull other persons, your neighbors, your co-passengers in trouble, or you may give trouble to them, or you may have a bitter words with them, or you may have a very pleasant words with them, or you make a friend of them, and you may get some food from the air hostesses, from the kitchen crew, from the airlines company. So many activities you've done. All these things you cannot say no. I want to get down from the flight, because once it has once it starts flying high and above, then you cannot get down from that plane. Your destiny is fixed there till you reach your destination, because that means to say that once you have done in the previous life whatever activities you have done, so all these things are you are going to face the consequences in your next birth. After you have done, you cannot say I want to wipe off all these things, unless or otherwise you surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or if you try to do some pure devotional service, or engage your senses, mind, everything in Bhakti Yoga, then definitely taking the association from the pure devotees, then your karmic actions and also your sinful activities um, will be counteracted by doing a pure devotion service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's what this verse says. It's all about the laws of karma with the human form of life. Verse 7. Itam karma gatir gachan bahvabhadra vahaha uman adbhuta samplavat sarga pralayavashnute vasaha. Itam, in this way, karma gati, the destination is determined by his past activities. Gachan, obtaining. Bahu adara, much, that is inauspicious. Bahu abhadra, inauspicious. Vahaha, which involve woman, the living being. Adbhuta samplavat, until the dissolution of created universe. Sarga pralaya, birth and death. Ashnute, he experiences. Avasaha, helplessly. Translation purport given by disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Thus, the conditioned living entities is forced to experience repeated birth and death. Impelled by the reactions of his own activities, he helplessly wanders from inauspicious situation to another, suffering from moment of creation until the time of cosmic annihilation. According to Srila Madhvacharya, after hearing that the living entity is repeatedly subject to birth and death with a material world, if one still considers such a helpless entity equal to God in all respects, one will surely fall into the darkest regions of the universe, from which is difficult to rise. So this verse focuses more on the conditioned living entity is forced to experience the repeated birth and death because of his reactions in his own activities. He helplessly wanders from one inauspicious situation to another, suffering from the moment of creation until the time of cosmic annihilation. So the living entity, because of his previous misdeeds and previous reactions, he keeps on revolving around the universe until the new creation, until the time of cosmic annihilation happens. So Srila Madhvacharya also says that if one still considers such a helpless, if one claims that he is equal to God and he is God himself, for them it is very, very highly difficult and cumbersome to raise from the lowest levels of material platform to the spiritual platform. It's highly impossible, he says. It's very difficult to rise. Text number 8. Dhatupaplava hasane vyaktam dravya gunatmakam anadi nidanaha kalohi avyaktayapakarshati. Dhatu of the material elements. Upaplave, their dissolution. Hasane, when it is become imminent. Vyaktam, the manifest cosmos. Dravya, gross objects. Guna, and the subtle modes. Atmakam, consisting of. Anadi, without beginning. Nidanaha, or end. Kalaha, time. See, indeed. Avyaktya, into the unmanifest. Apakarshati, draws. Translation purport given by disciples of Srila Prabhupada. When the annihilation of the material elements is imminent, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form of eternal time withdraws manifest cosmos consisting of gross and subtle features, and the entire universe vanishes into non-manifestation. The third canto of Srimad Bagavatam, Lord Kapila teaches that the material nature originally exists in an inert state of equilibrium called pradhana. When Lord Vishnu cast his potent glance in the form of kala or time, material interactions take place, culminating in the variegated creation of the material cosmos. In this verse, it is stated that at the end of universal time, the same kala that originally incited the female nature into manifestation again withdraws the cosmos into its original state of inert non-manifestation. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura, the time potency itself, kala, is then withdrawn and it merges into the Supreme Soul who manifests himself as the original cause of material nature. Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Such technical arrangements for creation and annihilation, birth and death do not exist in the eternal spiritual kingdom of God. In the spiritual sky, the variegated spiritual enjoyment of the Lord and his devotees is not hampered by the inferior cycles of birth, maintenance and destruction found in the material world. So it is all about the sarga, the creation and the destruction of the material universes. So the creation happens when it is called pradhana, when Vishnu glances over this material nature, then it impregnates and the innumerable living entities come into existence. And when as time passes on, when the representative of Lord Kala, time, it annihilates in the due course of time that Kala, who is also representative of Lord. After its duration of the cycles, then it gets annihilated. So the living entities also keep rotating and revolving in this creation, in the material universes, which until or otherwise they put a stop to the subtle body and the grass body both, then they will stay the same material world in taking birth in different levels or in different species, higher planetary systems or middle planetary systems or to the lower planetary systems, depending upon the mode of activity they have taken, Sataguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, like that. So this, unlike in this spiritual world, there is no creation, there is no mind, and there is no annihilation, all these things. It will always exist. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. All these living entities will always be there. There will not be any creation or there will not be any annihilation. It will always be there, because in the spiritual sky, variegated spiritual enjoyment of the Lord and his devotees is not hampered. So the devotees of the Lord will always keep on enjoying, keep on serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead at all times. At all times it exists, but no, and it is not at all disturbed by the cycles of birth and death or maintenance and destruction. That's what the 7th verse says. Verse 9 says that Satavarshahi Anavrishti Bhavishyati Ulbana Bhuvi Tat Kalo Pachitosh Narako Lokam Strin Pratapishyati. Translation: as cosmic annihilation approaches, terrible drought takes place on earth for 100 years. For 100 years, the heat of the sun gradually increases and its blazing heat begins to torment the three worlds. So it is about annihilation. So when cosmic annihilation approaches, A terrible drought takes place for 100 years. For 100 years, the heat of the sun gradually increases and blazing fire begins to torment the entire three worlds. Text 10. Patala talam arbhya sankarshana mukanalaha dohan urdhva shiko viswag vardate vayuneritaha. Beginning from Patala Loka, a fire grows, emanating from the mouth of Lord Shankarshana. Its flames shooting upward, driven by great winds, it scorches everything in all directions. So this from the mouth of Sankarshana, the fire emanates, and the fire emanates and fire grows, and its flames are shooting from upward, driven by the great winds. It scorches everything in all directions. So there is a great amount of time to be spent to read Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is not a very simple subject which can read just like a stories, because there are 10 prominent factors in Shambhasra Srimad Bhagavatam. Sarga, Visarga, so many factors in this, keeping these 10 basic prominent matters, the Bhagavatam is explained by Srila Vyasadeva. So the creation is very important. In this creation, annihilation, maintenance, all those things are very in detail. It is being explained. No material or mundane person can understand with this material senses. It needs a lot of concentration, dedication, and pure devotional service, and also the surrendering quality, or the servitorship, or the mood of pranipatena pariprashnena, a lot of humility we need to hear Bhagavatam. It's not just like we can read Bhagavatam and understand. Bhagavatam is a very amazing, incredible literature written by great Muni, Vyasa Muni, who is none other than the incarnation of Lord Krishna, who is the literary incarnator. So all these things are detailed in depth. So it's not so many people in this material world, especially in this modern civilization, they even doesn't know where they are situated and what's all is about this human life, and the oceanic understanding of this cosmic manifestation itself is a great needs a lot of desire to understand this subject. So it's not a matter of fortnight or a month. So one has to approach the bona fide spiritual master or the representative of Lord. So if at all he wants to understand this material world and spiritual world, he has to accept the bona fide sampradaya or bona fide spiritual master from the institutions like International Society of Krishna Consciousness, or in other words you can say the Gaudiya Sampradaya, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So one has to take the help, or one has to take the shelter of the Vaishnavas from our ISKCON centers, so that they may explain to you very beautifully about this material world, about the aim of human life, and how this material creation is functioning, and how Lord is administering the entire creation, and what is these cycles, what is this Chaturveda, Chaturyuga, and how these cycles keep coming and going, and how many Brahmas are there, and how many Suryas, Chandras, Shivas are there in particular in every universe, and how this has been managed and how this has been governed and administered by one single Supreme Personality of Godhead. And although he is never involved in this, but still everything is in connection to him, and everything is aligned to him. All his potencies are maintaining the entire whole cosmic creation. So you need lot of humility and lot of association you have to take from the pure devotees of the Lord. So with this I'll conclude. Hare Krishna. Please chant the Yuga Dharma. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. One thing I want to tell, I want to request you that if at all you want to understand this material creation by the Supreme Personality of God, the first step, the beginning step in this devotional service is to chant the holy names of the Lord. If you start chanting the holy names of the Lord regularly, constantly, without any hesitation, without reluctant, definitely Krishna will give you knowledge to understand about the Supreme Personality of God. Not only he will give understand, but also all your material problems, distress, and chaos in the society, everything will get solved if one has faith and belief in the words of Srimad Bagavatam and other literatures like Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.